You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
Welcome back to Nerds Podcast. Happy days, everybody, because we're about to review the whole season of what we thought about Fallout Season 2. If it's your first time here, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, give a like, give a comment, and also share the content that we're actually doing today. Pete, we've actually just got into Fallout ourselves. Like, well, this is us. We've never played the game, and I know we talked about this prior to this, and we both haven't played the game, so we get to kind of see this much like the A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, where we actually get to kind of watch it as a show for the first time. You diving into this kind of for the first time as well, because you're fresh on the binge. What do you think about Fallout as a total series?
Well, very similar to when you and Cole played the Last of Us, and I didn't. So it was just me watching the show, obviously knowing that there's a game to reference, but I didn't have it myself to reference it. And this was very similar to that in the sense where I wasn't able to reference the game. I liked it. And this is something like, we've gotten these, we've watched these post-apocalyptic shows before. The Walking Dead is a good example of that. But this one is in the future, very much in the future. and what's funny is I watched the animated Transformers the movie not too long ago. And this year, obviously, side note, this is the 40th anniversary of that movie. So, but to get back on track, well, in that movie, they said it's the year 2005. So I was like, wow, that's 20 years ago, 21 years now ago from now. But back then when it came out, it was 20 years in the future. So just crazy now. But this is like 100 years in the future from now. So it's crazy. But yeah, it's a good, again, the setting is post-apocalyptic setting. And then when you have your setting, that's when you can start having your side stories that kind of take place in the setting. So of course we have the people living in vaults, and then we have the ghouls, and then we have the Brotherhood. So it's a cool show. I have no idea. I don't even know what gameplay looks like for Fallout, to be quite honest.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't know. But this is just something that, yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, this is, like you said, an RPG game. Had a kind of a 1950s aesthetic to it as the show went on. Then it became a first-person experience as well. So listen, Vault-Tec and the way they kind of did the show, again, just all these games now, like The Last of Us, are now becoming movies more often. I think I want to say maybe the one that kind of launched all this was probably Tomb Raider in a sense, right? So, and we'll get into other things as we get into the future with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter coming out as well. So this is great. Listen, as a show, I try to understand it, right? Because I was first confused. Again, gotta say, didn't play the game. So forgive us if we're not being accurate or things of that nature. Because again, I'm just going to talk about the show. I was confused originally about this is 200 years later, cryo sleep, things of that nature. And we've seen these kind of things before, Pete, where it's been before. But there's some sinister stuff that goes on here. Does anything for you in the sense of season 2 when it came to the vote or the surprises of who's who? We got House, we got the Enclave, which is another society on there. Anything for you that kind of said, hey, I love these characters. Don't get me wrong. Walton Goggins as the Ghoul steals the show. Like, I live for Walton Goggins, loved him. I know that kind of the first time I saw Walton Goggins for me was probably Sons of Anarchy. Was it for you?
Definitely.
Yeah, he killed that role as well with Tiggy. But, outside of Walton Goggins, because, he's a gem of an actor, anyone stood out for you?
Lucy, she seemed very, I wouldn't say she was 100% naive, but there was some there where, like you see, she's trying not to swear. She doesn't want to kill people. Like he even told her, I don't know how much shooting people in the shoulder and shooting people in the ass is gonna help you. But she was trying. I mean, I guess she knew these are things I have to do, but didn't want to. And I think she mentioned it at one point. I'm not gonna apologize for not killing people. So that's when he had made that comment about shooting people in the ass. Yeah. He's trying to wound people, but not kill them, of course. So again, that was just showing her character, and being very loyal to the vault that she was with, and her dad, of course. But there's a lot going on there. But I liked Lucy a lot. Lucy was good. Main character. She did well carrying it.
Yeah, we talked about this, of course, prior to doing this show, but there was a scene, and I want to say it was in episode 4 when they got to Vegas, and they had the Elvis ghouls, that the way she was shooting, the way she was moving, the whole scene felt like zombies in Call of Duty. And you got the same feeling on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me back there at 100%. The person that I couldn't get over with was Aaron Moulton, who plays Maximus. Why does he look like Cuba Gooding Jr. to me? Like, I couldn't get Cuba Gooding Jr. out of my head. Did that happen to you at all?
I didn't get that.
Man, I couldn't get that out of my head. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about relationships here. Lucy on the hunt, going towards her dad, and her dad was kind of behind the whole thing when it comes to the Sunnyside bomb. They were trying to rebuild back right after the bomb, and these guys nuked them again because we got a Maximus backstory on all this stuff. I mean, that was crazy to think of how they told his backstory. Was it crazy for you? What was your thought process on that?
Well, just seeing how he survived, very, very, very much like, and very Superman-like. His parents put him in a refrigerator to protect him from the blast. And, obviously he's not traveling to another planet, but they sacrificed themselves because obviously they all didn't fit in there. It was a small refrigerator. They put their son in a refrigerator so he could survive the blast. And, he grew up without his parents because of that. So that was
crazy. And listen, I love Max's backstory. I think it's kind of dope. And him joining, because we're seeing this years afterwards. They're kind of rebuilt and then destroyed as well. But of course, in showing his backstory of how he joined the Brotherhood of Steel, what did you think, Pete, of him trying to join the same Brotherhood that either probably destroyed him, but at the same time we get the character from I forgot his name, the Indian actor. He was awesome in this in the show as well. It escapes me right now, but that creation of the Civil War when he killed them, trying to protect Thaddeus, I want to say, right? Thaddeus, yes. Thaddeus, he saved the place from the kids. I mean, did you see that coming? That hammer was so dope with the power jets on it, and he put it right through his skull. And it's like, damn, I can't believe I actually started this war. What was your thought process, like him trying to get back?
Steel, the character Steel from DC has something similar. His mallet is very similar to what Pooba's describing right now. But him trying to get back to him and him saving the kids from So the guy who you're talking about, he was in Eternals.
Yes. I gotta get the name right now because I gotta do this right now because he was funny in the show as well.
He was in Eternals. There was a rumor that he is playing Booster. He will be playing Booster Gold in the DCU, but that's a rumor.
Ooh.
That is the.
I like him as Booster Gold. That's actually really good. That's a
rumor. It's not confirmed.
The guy's name is Xander in the show.
And his name.
He killed. The Xander's name again. I gotta get this, guys. I apologize, but since we're fresh off the show, and we want to make sure that we give you guys all the information as well.
I got it. It's Kumali Nanjiani.
Yes. Yes. Yo, I gotta give it to him. He's actually really funny, man. That dude is really funny. Makes me laugh. But he is a stand-up comedian, am I right?
I'm not sure about that, but he plays Kingo in Eternals.
What? Yes, man. That was again just kind of great, showing that there's this bigger faction that kind of controls all these other ones, and they don't want to go to war with them. But of course, in Maximus trying to be a good person in a sense, kills him to kind of start off the war, which was kind of crazy in a sense. But the whole Ghoul thing and it's fantastic. What was interesting to me was that kind of Roman Empire, the Caesars, and the whole. And Macaulay Culkin, of course, played that role really well as well. But in the part where it was kind of like the golden rule, do unto others, that shooting in the ass, the saving people, all that other stuff. But there's a part that I really got when Lucy kind of took on the female and left the Ghoul by himself, right? She saved him. She didn't give him the stuff to kind of left him pinched in a sense. Did you see that coming when she betrayed him?
Not that I saw it coming, but when I saw it happen, I understood it because of because of her, what her morals were. I understood it. I wasn't surprised by it when she saw. Didn't see it coming, but I wasn't surprised by it. But then there was a twist at the end when she said, "I thought we were friends."
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's weird in that sense, but it's a funny relationship. But like you said, they're going. I believe they're going their separate ways. We probably won't see them together again.
Yeah, I think we'll get kind of a maybe like a Game of Thrones type of thing. We're having different stories across the board to try to make it.
Without a doubt.
And at one point, I think it'll all come together, but I think that's kind of where this is going at. But listen, I've seen all types of mind control, from Killgrave to different things. I can't remember a show with a chip in the back of the neck that controls people. Again, just in my opinion, whoever wrote the game, whoever wrote the show, kind of sticking to that. I think that's genius writing. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
The only thing I can think of is Doc Ock and Spider-Man 2.
Love that one. Yeah, the chip in the back.
Attached to the arms. They were like kind of the AI to control the arms so they wouldn't take over. It would be him controlling them instead of vice versa. That's the only thing I could really think of. The way he attached it to the head of the back of the head of the guy in the alley.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Blade 2 when Blade attached the bomb to the back of Ron Perlman's character in Blade 2.
Yeah.
A lot of references.
Yes. No, again, love it. Love when we see something and it brings back some memories from other movies as well. But listen, this wouldn't be a conversation if we didn't talk about Lucy's addiction. I loved the fact that they showed her almost crackhead style, scratching herself, things of that nature. I laughed my ass off completely, and of course, this is when she got high is when she actually attacked the ghouls in Vegas. I guess you found that funny as well.
Definitely, yeah. But because of the her being somewhat naive, when I brought up before, and when you see her kind of get off that path, yeah, it's a little funny. Like when she offered to have sex with Maximus.
And I was rooting for that. I was rooting for that.
I didn't see that coming, but then he decided against it. But yeah, she seems very the girl next door type,
Yeah.
But, we're not talking homes here; we're talking vaults, and I guess we'll get into that as well.
No, yeah, we'll get into that conversation wholeheartedly because I want to say it's Stephanie kind of really turned everything on its head. Let's talk about it. We're here, so let's talk about it. Stephanie going from Canada. It was crazy to see how she said they're not humans, they're Americans. On how and how she actually got to the ranks up, getting into the hotel, marrying Hank. I didn't even see that coming as well. And she kind of, I guess, knows some of these secrets because she just said, I want what's in Hank's vault, right? So that PIP-BOY that was important towards the end. But she's kind of ruthless with it, isn't she?
Definitely. I mean, but you remember, I'm guessing that was her mother, the flashback where they showed them escaping. And that's when she what you just said, they're not humans, they're Americans. And her secret was that she came from Canada. She wasn't born in the vault because you said this is 200 years in the future, right?
Right.
So that part that was something that she was kind of keeping to herself, but she is very ruthless. The vaults are where some of the population is living. There's they're carrying on with their lives in these things called vaults because of the bombs that were dropped. And then on the surface is where Lucy is and where the Brotherhood is and the Ghoul is played by Walton Goggins. But it's an interesting storyline they have set up with those three storylines, and then of course you brought up the Caesars as well. But yeah, she is definitely and she plays the part. When she plays the part, you can see on her face she looks like a psycho.
Yo, like again, just some really good acting. I got to give credit to the actors in the show. I haven't really seen it nominated for Emmys, but looking at its whole entirety from season 1 now to season 2, I could see where some of the actors do. But again, I'll put it out there. And while I've never played the game and really just getting into Fallout as its entirety, if Walton Goggins doesn't get nominated, I think it'll be a disservice to acting in its sense, because he does a great job. Because they do such a great job of showing Cooper and then him as the Ghoul. Because Cooper's this really good guy. Like, he's a really good guy, always trying to do the right thing. He's saying the right things. He's an ex-Marine, and then he's so different as a Ghoul because he's so cold-hearted, like that humanity is completely gone. And we've said it before, it's not easy to play two different people in a sense. And he does a great job of it across the board in both seasons as well. Like, when you see the Ghoul on this show, it's like, okay, I want more of this guy. And Pete, I know you're in agreement on this one, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
He, like you said, he's a completely different character as the Ghoul, as to when they do the flashbacks, with him dealing with his family, dealing with the corporate side of Voltec. He's an actor. I guess he's kind of like a George Clooney back then. Very popular guy. He's doing endorsements for Voltec, but then all these years later, he's a Ghoul, and you see him, and like you said, he doesn't care about anything, because everything was taken from him.
Pete, I gotta ask you a question on this one, and I was like, whoa, kind of taken back. What was your first thoughts when you saw the Death Claw, this big monstrous thing that claws, and it's crazy to think that this type of thing exists?
Oh, I forgot. There was something that it reminded me of, but I can't really remember what it was. But no, just okay. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. This is what you got to get through. They did remind me of, I think the gatekeepers from Ghostbusters.
Oh, well, the demo dog, the demon dogs that okay, yeah, no, yeah, I'm on that, but like 5 more times the size, and much bigger than that. Let's talk about some plots here that were really good in the sense, right? So we got the Ghoul. Of course, he's on the hunt, searching on his quest for his wife and his daughter. But we also get this whole thing where, when it comes to the energy that they're all trying to get, right? And we're thinking that Robert House is the villain here, but we kind of find out that he's not, right? Because he said it himself towards the end of the season that there's another player involved that he didn't see coming, which they call the Enclave. But, Pete, were you able to, in the sense of the storyline, kind of figure out who's good and who's bad? Once he gave that energy to the president of the United States, that's it. This is where the story kind of takes a twist, because we're thinking that Robert House is the enemy here, and he's not. In a sense, he's just trying to preserve everything as it stands today, because he wants to live forever, of course. But you know, he gave the power source to create the bombs and the problem and things of that nature. Is there anything out of that particular storyline that stood out to you?
No, but I believe they all have their hand in it. There's not one sole villain here. They all have their hand. Look, his the Ghoul's wife is very much involved in it as well. So it's not just for me. It's not just one person who's a villain here. Who's the enemy.
There was a scene in Vegas that I was like, damn, he is not getting out of that. And it's when, of course, Lucy gets this big power punch thing and she's being captured by her dad, Hank, and the Ghoul's on that stake. And he is trying to lift himself up little by little. I mean, again, I can't remember a scene of that nature. And then, of course, the dog just grabs the hat. But the dog does get Maximus and Thaddeus to help him out. Again, I'm just kind of reliving all of this all at once as we're conversating about it. And then, of course, what a phenomenal scene of Maximus versus those Death Claws. That was crazy to see. And then they were betting on who was going to live. Tell me what your thought was on that.
The bottle caps being currency is weird. Yeah, you heard me right. Bottle caps are currency. And these are not bottle caps off of a plastic bottle. These are off for like the glass bottles. But yeah, that's currency. They're all betting on him except for
Thaddeus.
Yes, he's the one who bets on him. And he's fighting like 5 of them in the suit. And he's in the suit. But yeah, I couldn't get over the fact that he was going to help them and his arm just fell off.
And he was trying to get pointers from Cooper Hog the Ghoul. You know, he was trying to get like the nose thing. Does that happen? And you can see like the cut is like it's about to fall off as well. The makeup is really good at that point as well.
The makeup's phenomenal. If you look at the Ghoul the whole time, and it's like if you're looking at a skull, but of course there's still skin there except for where his nose is at. It's excellent makeup, excellent.
Yeah, there was a scene there with a super mutant that kind of asks the Ghoul to join him. I'm hoping that in season 3 they kind of go deeper into that because you know there is a big mech. So if you think we saw that Maximus in, there's even a bigger one. Yeah. If you saw the post-credit scene, they were kind of building that out on that as well. But you know, there was a soft moment, I guess, in the show. And after Lucy finds out about the head belonged to the senator because she was such a good person that they were kind of taking her personality and implanting it into those chips, which again, very cool idea at the same time. But the moment where, again, you called it out when he shot the dad in the ass. He goes, if it was up to me, I wouldn't be shooting the ass. But again, it's the whole golden rule thing, and he knows that Lucy has to kind of figure this out. But the moment that the dad grabs it and switches it himself, and he puts it on himself, and he kind of loses all his memory, and I think he called her ma'am or something like that when he saw her. And again, good dads, bad dads, they're all out there, of course. But I did feel kind of emotional, like, damn, it just erased her dad's memory. He doesn't even know who his daughter is anymore. Any feelings towards that at all?
It's just, I guess, the nature of what they're dealing with. You know, she found out earlier that her dad wasn't what she thought he was. So this was like the end game here for that. Like, okay, I need to stop him, but this was the end result. And was it too extreme to the point where what had to be done was, you know, the result was his memory being completely wiped, and like you said, him not even knowing his own daughter. And I think when she realized that is when she said, "Wow," that's when it hit her. You know, that's when she became emotional. That, you know, it took me to do this, to right this wrong that my dad has been, you know, doing this for years. But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, her dad doesn't know who she is anymore.
Yeah, that's it's crazy. So again, so we now have Vegas. We have okay. I gotta say this: the NCR looked dope. The sniper, as he was gunning down the death claws, that looked amazing, bro. And especially the fire coming out of the sniper rifle.
Yes.
Dope scene. The outfits look dope. So we're coming towards the end, right? And we now know that the Ghoul now has hopes that his wife is now going to be in Colorado. So I'm thinking season 3 is going to lead us into Colorado. Lucy is now staying in Vegas with Maximus, but we're leading into a battle in Vegas, right? The fight for Vegas, which is funny that Caesar's Palace, and he called him Kaiser. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And it's actually Caesar's. But I'm guessing that season 3 is gonna be a big war between the NCR and the Caesar's crew of the Romans. I don't even know what they're called right now. The Legion. Yes. It leaves us there, right? And then we also now have we're going to Colorado, right? So from Vegas to Colorado on foot, that's a whole season, I guess, in the sense of the traveling for what it's worth. But, any expectations or anything that you're looking forward to in season 3?
Well, it was a shock because I think this whole time he felt like his wife and daughter were cryogenically frozen. So I think he felt that, once I get there, I'm going to have my wife and daughter back. I mean, I don't know what he's expecting. They're going to see him without a nose, he's not the same guy they remember. But
no, what is it called? No more Alaskan kisses.
Yeah, Eskimo kisses. Yeah, no more. They're not doing that anymore. So I don't know. It's I can see it being where his journey to Colorado, Lucy and Maximus, I guess, where they pick up their relationship, and the war that's going to be brewing, and then let's not forget about what's happening in the vault. There's a big uproar in the vault now because they kind of Chet kind of outed Steph because she was just being like a real she was being a real bitch to him, like, yo, take care of my baby even though it's not yours.
What a mamau. That's what we call a mamau.
But he eventually got over that and was like, listen, I'm sick of this. He found out her secret and he outed her, and then that's what caused the uproar. And they're going after her, but she's got something up her sleeve, so that will continue as well. And let's not forget about Lucy's brother.
Oof, yeah.
Well,
Norm, right, Norm?
and he unfroze some people that weren't a little bit too early, very much like Underworld when they
when they
woke up Victor too early, so they weren't supposed to be awakened yet, and he did that because he had no choice. But he had his own issues with them on the surface, a little bit of a mutiny there because they found out he wasn't who he thought he wasn't who he was saying he was. So there was he was lucky to get out of that. So.
Listen, this wouldn't even be a review if we didn't talk about the roach scene through the elevators. Yeah. I hate roaches. Like I grew up in the Bronx. I've seen them. As much as you try to clean, they're in New York City. They're there. They pop up because you can't control what your neighbors do. But that is one of the creepiest roaches I've ever seen in its entirety. I'm glad that I want to say his name is Ronnie got what he deserved, because even when Norm tried to save one of them, he tried to get into that room and they kind of and they got in the room. He went under the table, saved himself, but they went ham in that room, and that was tough. But for me, I want to know what phase 2 is. What is this force evolutionary virus? That's kind of the next step that's definitely put into place. What is future enterprise ventures? Ronnie had mentioned that's kind of the next thing. I was shocked to see that Hank had said that the experiment wasn't the vaults. It was the wasteland was the experiment. So kind of curious how that happens in its entirety. I can't wait to see those big, I want to say it's like Megatron Pacific Rim robots. They're huge. Can't wait to see what that looks like. And again, just how they continue the story as well. Again, because there's so many storylines, so many things going on, it reminds me of a video game version of Game of Thrones, with so many factions as well, things of that nature. I'm excited about season 3. Are you?
Yeah, good characters, good actors. Of course, we're heaping praise on Walton Goggins, who's very much on a Pascal run right now. He's almost in everything, and he's got range, because if you ever seen Vice Principals or The Righteous Gemstones, I believe it's called. It's with him and Danny McBride. He's actually pulls off comedy very well. So I'm looking forward to season 3, especially with these storylines that are kind of evolving, with him going to Colorado, Lucy and Maximus finally being together, and I'm interested to see how the brother, what's he gonna do, because she doesn't know he's up there.
Yeah, he left her a message saying if you're out there, yeah. So this is gonna be super interesting. We'll be here to review it on Nerds Podcast. Tell us what you thought about season 2 of Fallout. If there's anything we missed, anything you want to talk about, let's chop it up. Put it in the comments. We'll catch you on Fallout season 3.
The worst episode ever.